Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to take a little moment and talk about Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins. I know it's been a little bit, but I wanted to think about it for a little bit and talk about that today. So, as always, a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description. Just wanted to talk about this specifically because I wanted to play devil's advocate a little bit. So Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins both work for Wizard of the Coast, or at least did. I think by now they actually officially left. They've been the rules creation and kind of like the headmaster going forward with everything, with the stories and the direction that they've been going to. So playing devil's advocate, if we do consider that they left for the reasons why they have said that they're leaving, that they're pursuing other things, and that, you know, it was just something that was planned for a long time, and it wasn't because of circumstances within D&D specifically, then everything's okay and it's fine, and everything works out well, and best of luck to them. But here's the circumstances as we know it. D&D has not been performing well. Wizard of the Coast has not been performing well as a whole. A lot of the books and everything that's been coming out for a long time have been met with a lot of criticism, a lot of bad reviews. People have just been slamming them constantly. People have been feeling that it's not been performing as it should be. With the issues with the OGL and everything on top of that, there has been a lot of good faith that has been lost in the company. But understand, as content creators started making their own D&D books and processes and stories and modules, the company saw that and saw that these things were being funded millions of dollars in like minutes, some of them, and getting these incredibly high sales from that, and them competing with other people with their own product is a big issue. From a corporation standpoint, it is a huge problem because they're constantly losing to themselves. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the people that created these modules, created these stories, created these worlds and all these things, and how hard they worked on it, because they truly did work hard, and it's a very passion-driven project. So it's done really great because those always come from the right place and they keep the heart of what everything is. Here's the problem, though. When they spend millions of dollars producing a module and they release it, and someone else produces it using their own system and everything that they've worked hard to create from scratch, and they outsell them, you gotta follow the chain of command here and go, why are we losing out? Why are we not good? Why is all this stuff falling apart? And at some point you have to answer that question. Now, what those conversations are like behind closed doors is one thing. And I am just speculating here. I don't know for sure what happened. But there's just no way that they can go through the entire history of what they've been through recently. The constant decline in sales that have been reported literally everywhere for all the stuff that they put out. And then how many people just don't like the new edition, which I think is strange because I actually really like the new edition. It's a problem. And you need to change something in order to make that better. So I don't really believe that they left on their own goodwill and that this was something that they were planning and that this is what it was, because this is America, you know, and coming from a corporation that most people don't trust. Anyway, obviously this becomes a thing of integrity for a lot of different things. But understand, we had a part in doing this and creating this. So I'm confused as to why so many videos are out and why so many people have been talking about it, because ultimately this is something that we did by constantly competing against them with all these individually created products that have done really well, because they were able to take what is wrong with everything that happened previously and make it better in some aspects, and to create new things that people have wanted that they couldn't, because there's a lot of corporate tape to go through when you make changes and things like that. So we help build this problem, and now we are this problem. We are this circumstance where we fought to keep the OGL the way it is, which is fine, and I'm not saying that it's wrong in any way, shape, or form, but we have a responsibility to that. And the constant outpouring of people creating their own stuff using that has hurt D&D, because a lot of people think, well, why am I going to play the official wotc stuff when these content creators have made better stuff? Well, ultimately, that causes the wotc creation team to suffer. When those numbers go down, everything plummets, and then you start realizing, well, I'm putting more money into this than I'm getting out of it, and from a business point of view, that's liable to erase it and stop it. That's kind of the way it works. A change in management usually happens first, where they try and pick up the pieces, redirect it, and put it all together and push it forward, is one thing. The problem is we now face a situation where it's no longer the devil we know, it's the devil we don't. So can things get better? Obviously, absolutely. But if we're continuously fighting things getting better as opposed to trying to make things better, it's always going to be the same thing. There's obviously a lot of YouTubers out there who just do doom and gloom videos about the end of D&D, where every week it's like, now it's really over, and like the final nail in the coffin. That doesn't help. That doesn't make things better. That doesn't help save the game, because nobody there is trying to save the game. The problem is, with the new direction that they're going to, I'm hoping that they take the point and look at the people that are describing a really honest opinion of what they want and how they want things to go forward, and deliver that message, because that's ultimately the things that we want. I would love to have a more modern kind of D&D world. I would love to have a better crafting system. I would love poison damage to not be immune, or have so many enemies immune or resistant to it. But ultimately, those few things don't make it better. Because you need a good story. You need a good reason. You need an adventure. You need something to drive you forward. If things keep going the way they're going, then D&D is going to be less a tabletop game and more of a TV and movie production. Now, again, playing devil's advocate, playing both sides of it, just trying to get an opinion out there that nobody seems to really be talking about. I just want people to understand that we're at a situation where, if this was anything else, if this was a new IP that was just starting, they would have closed shop on it and moved on to something else. That's a real thing that we need to really look at. So if you love this game as passionately as I do, then you're at a situation where it's like, could this really be the end, where this is the last edition they put out? I mean, they've already backpedaled on some other things they've already tried to do and promised to do. With their new D&D Beyond map editor, which looked really amazing, is now really not going to be used, especially in how they were planning to do it. All these things aren't the greatest outlook, but if we don't start supporting the game we have, we might never get the game we want. And I know it's one of those things where I'm not saying obviously throw all your money away, but if they continue to lose money, if they continue to have lackluster sales, if they continue to put effort into and monies and time investitures and payroll and all that stuff into something, and everyone just doesn't use it or doesn't buy it or doesn't like it, those spell the end. Now, they have a responsibility to make it enjoyable for us to want to buy it. That's their whole responsibility. And maybe we're at an opportunity where they will make changes and make that happen. Maybe they will come out with maybe a more difficult version or a more complex version, or I don't know what. I think they lost a lot of the direction because the pandemic kind of threw everything out of whack. And they're hoping that they can still pull all that back to those numbers, which is like chasing the dragon. It doesn't work that way. What they really need to do is get back to what makes D&D great. Listen to the people who have been telling them constantly, this is what we want, and stop making it so difficult to support them. Stop making all these insane decisions and poorly led ideas come out as your standpoints that make it difficult for us to want to support this company. it's just a really bad situation, and it's really problematic. So I'm hoping that the people that do replace Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford do really help to bring about a new vision of what D&D should be, or a new way to make it applicable to people to enjoy, to relish in being a part of and sharing with the people that they love, because that's what it comes down to, and we're losing that. So hopefully something better comes from this, and I do the right thing by finding people who really, really love the game as much as Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins do, and just have a way to make it connect to all of us who are missing that connection with everything that's been coming out lately. So I know not normally one of our types of videos, but I definitely want to at least talk about that, because we do have a responsibility as people who do love something to support it. And if we're not going to support it, we have to accept the fact that it's going to go away. But I don't want to be a doom and gloom like some of those other channels that I see, which just, it drives me crazy, because I don't want to be depressed the whole time making videos being depressed, about being upset at how bad things are, so it makes me depressed. So hopefully something better comes along. Hopefully something good happens. I wish Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins all the best. I don't know them, so hopefully the things that they do end up being great. That being said, if you made it this far, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Definitely join and support me, please. I beg you. It helps the channel. It really does. And we are really grateful for everyone who does support. And thank you for giving a Spooky Kid a chance.